What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're back working on this 335D. If you guys have been following along with my channel, we've actually done quite a bit of work to this car already. We've done some emissions delete stuff and some performance upgrades, some suspension stuff. You can check those videos on my channel. There's actually a separate section for the build series on this car. Today we're going to be doing a little bit more upgrades as far as performance goes. What we're doing, hopefully, will help with some of the sooting out of the back of the car. Some people like that with the diesel. Others don't want to have to deal with having to constantly clean the back of their car, and they just want it to be a little bit more stealth. So what we're doing today hopefully will combat that a little bit. From what I've seen, it does help that a little bit. We're going to be installing this upgraded air filter and silicone elbow. They are going to be replacing the factory air box in this factory elbow here where it goes down into the turbo. So I'm going to go over how to get this factory air box out and this hose off, and then we're going to show you how to install this new part. So let's get started. All right, so I have a little bit different circumstances at this vehicle. I have a strut tower bar in place on here. You may as well. I'm going to try to get this air box out without having to take that off. I may actually end up having to take it off, but we'll see as we're messing around here. To take this air box off is relatively simple. You're going to start with taking the lid off, and then we're going to work on getting the bottom half of the box off. You're going to want to unplug your plug connection here. This plug connection just has two pinch tabs on either side of the connector here. You squeeze them in towards the middle and pull the connector off. You're going to want to unscrew this clamp here, and then you have these snaps all the way around the box that actually snap the lid off. And I believe there's supposed to be another one here. This box is missing that. And then this lid comes off. If you have this in place, you're probably gonna have to do a little bit of messing around to get it out. If you don't, the lid of this box will just pull out. And then once you get the lid off, there's a 10 here and a 10 here that you're gonna use in order to take the bottom half of the box off. So what I'm actually gonna do, because I have the strut tower brace in place, is I'm gonna take these 10s out and try to work the whole box out from underneath that brace without having to take the brace off. So let's get to it. All right, I did want to go over one thing I forgot to include, kind of forgot myself. You're going to have to take this air intake box here that sits over top of the radiator loose so that you can get this elbow out of the box itself, this intake box here across the top of the radiator, and then out of the air box itself to get it out of the way. This is just held in with two T20s. There's one here and one here that hold it in. And then while I was trying to take the box out, because of my strut tower bar, the only other thing I had to take off was this little fresh air intake. It's actually a heated air intake. It sucks some air off of the turbo area over there. So I had to take that off just to clear the strut tower bar here. If you don't have the strut tower bar in here, you can just pick the box right up out of there. So now that we got this box out of here, we're actually going to go over how to get this hose off. This hose has a hose worm gear clamp right here, and it's actually not in a very good place. It's facing towards the turbos, so I'm going to have a little bit of a struggle. I believe this is a like 6mm screw on here. I will correct myself here in the video if I'm incorrect, but I'm going to work on getting this off. Normally this hose clamp is going to be over here somewhere facing towards the side of the car, and you'll be able to get a screwdriver in here and just loosen it up and take this off. So I'm going to work on getting this off, and then I'm going to show you how to install our new silicone hose with our new air filter. All right, so we got this intake hose out of here. I had to take this plug connection off here for the sensor for this PCV valve just to be able to get clearance in here to work. Just to let you know, that was a 1/4 inch drive on that worm gear clamp. It's either 1/4 inch or 6mm if you run into the same kind of problem I did where it was facing that direction. Hopefully you don't. Makes your life a lot easier to just be able to use a screwdriver. So now you're going to take that worm gear clamp that was on that, and you're going to open it up almost as big as it can go to fit over top of this silicone coupler. And then we're going to put the silicone coupler back on that, but don't tighten it down yet, because what we're going to have to do is after we put the silicone coupler on there, we're going to have to swap over the mass airflow sensor from the original air box into the end of the silicone coupler. So actually I'm probably going to do that first before I put that down there. And then once we do that, we're going to work getting the air filter mounted to the mass airflow sensor. All right, so before we put that silicone coupler in, we're going to work on getting our mass airflow sensor installed in this coupler first. Airflow sensor coming out of the factory airbox is pretty easy. There's two T30 screws on either side here, and these two tabs. I'll actually show you a look here. You can see where those two T30s mount, and then once you get those T30s out, the airflow sensor just pulls right out of the factory airbox, and because it becomes its own entity. We're going to now get this mounted into the silicone tube, and then we're going to put our silicone tube in place, and then we're going to work on getting our air filter mounted to this mass airflow sensor. All right, so this is your completed and installed project. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I spent about 20 minutes wrestling with this and messing with angles and where everything was gonna go in order to get it to fit in there. This filter is kind of pressed in here and on a weird angle. I don't feel like it's gonna hurt anything because there's no part of this worm gear clamp here that's gonna be digging in anything. It is touching the strut tower bar and the heat shield here, as well as the bracket here for this. Going with a filter this large, there isn't really much you can do to combat that. I might try to go back and take this silicone coupler out and see what it does with the factory hose in there, just because the factory hose is a little bit shorter, and I'll move all of this stuff over this way a little bit. This should work the way this is. I'm going to drive it around and make sure that everything's okay and it's not having any issues with this setup like this. When you guys are going together, make sure that you push this silicone hose down onto this coupler, or this plastic. There's a plastic intake tube down here that goes into the front of the turbo. Make sure that you push this silicone hose down onto that tube far enough that when this hose clamp gets tightened down, it's below, there's like a ridge on the top of this plastic pipe. You want the hose clamp below that, because if you try to put the hose clamp on it, it's gonna, when you're wrestling with this, it's just gonna push this silicone hose off of this. You need to make sure that this is down and below the little ring on this plastic hose, and then tighten your hose clamp down, and then this silicone hose will stay on that plastic tube and allow you to be able to wrestle with all this stuff up here in order to get it all mounted in place. If you don't have a strut tower bar, there's going to be a lot more room for this filter to move this direction and sit in here a lot better and not be so cramped up. The strut tower bar is just kind of giving us a little bit less room just because of how down low it sits. If you have one, know that this works. It just is a little bit more tight than it normally would be without a strut tower bar. So like I said, we're gonna go drive this. We're gonna see how this works out, and I will let you guys know in the comments whether or not this actually helped with the sooting problem or like the black smoke out of the back of the car, just so you know going forward with your own vehicle that it was actually a help. If you guys have any questions about this video, please comment down below. I will be sure to leave a link to both the filter and the silicone coupler in the description of this video so you guys can purchase it for yourself if you would like to use it. I would appreciate if you guys to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys later.